I didn't think it was going to be as good as that. I thought it was going to be something like less of a difference in between English and Spanish.
I did too. Yeah, that's the main thing. Yeah, not only well, the fact that it found more results faster says something. I'm not sure what it says, but it means it's important. But the fact that you got so many more hits in English is not so much the news, but it's just like, you know, the important point here. I know, for example, if I go to Wikipedia, you know, I do or just look at the main page. It says like X amount of articles in English and X amount in Spanish, and we're living in the same planet. You know, you think there would be the same amount of information in Spanish, but no, all the information is in English. Not all, I'm exaggerating, not all, but so much more information is in English. So I'm very passionate about this one particular topic. You know, the English is like where it's at, man. You know, really.
Right. No, and now, for example, I have always taught my daughter how to speak English, as I said a moment ago, but now she's studying at this school, which I like very much because it's the best school to learn English here in Cuenca. And
what's the name of it, by the way?
Santana School. I cannot say it's the best school in Cuenca, no, but in English it is. And I really like the method they are following, and I really see the results with the students, and I have been doing that for more than 10 years, comparing their results with the results students came out with from many other schools in town. And the thing is that that's why I decided to change my daughter from the other school. She was receiving a very good education, but in this school she had a better English level, and I didn't know exactly what was the thing they were doing to teach them English, but now I know. Now I see her books, and the thing is that she is learning natural science in Spanish, but many of her books are in English. The teacher gives them many articles about cells divisions or websites or things that are in English.
That's
so
very, very practical. That's what the real world is. That's what life is like. Yeah,
exactly,
life is like.
Exactly. Where is the best technology and science developed? In the U.S.
It's really amazing how that's come about. You know, you would think.
Right.
You would think that every or, you know, let's say Chinese, what are the other, let's say Hindu, Russian, you think everybody would be at a similar level. But no, it's like the same thing with power, you know, like, you know, 5% of the population's got all the power, the rest of the people are like, you know, it's weird. It's like all the information, and in only about 200, 300 years, the U.S. has done this. So it's like, you gotta take your hat off, man, you know.
Right. No, and it's really interesting because I was studying Albert Einstein, and many of the post-war researchers and inventors and developers of different theories in education, in many of them, Vygotsky, Pavlov, Skinner, all of them were speaking in English. They were not speaking Russian or German or Jewish anymore. They were speaking English, and most of them were refugees in the US. And that's very interesting to see that there is a space where they found they could feel free to develop their ideas and to develop themselves as people, as persons, as single individuals with their own criteria, and not be judged for that, and not be pressed by society, but developed rules and things. And it was really interesting for me. And then here in Cuenca there started this wave of this new idea of the Chinese and the Indian markets are the new powers in the world, the economical powers,
right.
marketing powers, and
financial,
that's why,
right.
And they decided it would be necessary to teach students probably not English anymore, but Chinese Mandarin. But then I had this group of students who were learning business English with me, and I asked them, are you using some Chinese, or are the Chinese people who are talking to you speaking in Spanish with you to make all of this business? And they said, no, not at all. They speak English. Right.
Excellent.
So
that's the fact. That's the reality. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reality.
Yeah.
And even if Chinese people, the higher educated Chinese people have a better education in English also, the lower class people also are able to communicate in basic English.
The Chinese?
The Chinese.
Wow,
if you go there and if you travel through China and you want to buy some product, there are lots of Chinese people trying to express themselves in English in order to try to attract the customer to buy their product. So
these customers they're trying to attract are English-speaking Chinese or English-speaking foreigners. Ah, the tourist type.
The tourist type of people, yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Similar situation is in India, which has been, was dominated by the English for many years, and now English is like an integral part of the life in India.
Right, like Taiwan, for instance. It was also an English colony, so...
Or Hong Kong, maybe.
Hong Kong. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, and they have a pretty good level of English and lots of descendants from the colonizers.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that they do have the English as a very important way of communication. Mm-hmm. And if you listen to Indian people speaking English, yes, they have lots of advantages in developing their market and language. And then you can see this is not only the language that affected them, but all of the system that was open to them with the different culture that was brought to them with the colonizers. Mm-hmm. And I think the same thing about America or Ecuador. So many times we try to think that being colonized by European people was a terrible situation here, but we have to remember it's a process of humanity.
It's what?
It's the process of humanity, the humankind in general. Since we were humans, there have been wars and areas to be protected and defended and food to be selected and just chosen to protect your family and your community. And after that, you were able to develop different kinds of cultures and education and languages, but basically it was in relation to evolution of the human being and the preservation of the species. And I guess it was just the main issue, the main point, to develop your necessities, to satisfy your own necessities, and then be defending yourself in order to protect your close people, your close family, your close environment. And even with the situation of people from Asia came into the Bering Strait, it was because they were looking for food, because the ice was melting at that time and animals were running away to different places where they would still be alive, and people had to chase them because they needed to eat. And that's how they came to the Bering Strait and everything.
Interesting, yeah.
Right. So it's very interesting. Also, they say that women, for example, we are more skilled for catching different colors and, more than men. And the evolution idea says that women are more skilled for selecting colors because women were those who were harvesting and selecting the poisonous and nutritious products for the family and for the babies.
Yeah,
and it's really interesting. It's the same idea that why doctors, gynecologists, and pediatricians tend to explain why women start feeling all of the nauseas and all of the process of being so sensitive to the scents they perceive when they are pregnant, and it's just in order to avoid
poison
from their children. So
not from, but poison that might be coming to the child.
Yes, exactly. That would come to the child and it would hurt the child.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So it's a hypersensitivity that that I'm going to say it here that creation has instilled in
Exactly.
women.
Right.